Hi guys, so in this video today I'm going to be looking at late 90s Eurodance. So I've looked at like early 90s Eurodance and then moving on to mid, and now I'm looking at late 90s Eurodance, and this is sort of really where Eurodance and like mainstream trance and stuff like that started to sort of mix together. You look at the likes of Alice DJ, for example, Better Off Alone. It's been on many like greatest trance compilations, but it's also very Euro. Some of her other stuff is very Eurodancey, likes of All I Ever and stuff like that are more Eurodance than trance. So that's when the lines sort of get blurred. So in this project, I'm going to be looking at sort of late 90s Eurodance. So thinking along the lines of DJ Quicksilver, thinking Bellissima, Sash, Alice DJ, sort of all sorts of stuff like that. So I played through the track, and now there's not a lot of effects and stuff on this track. The reason being is obviously back in the late 90s, they wouldn't have had access to the sort of stuff that we have access to today. So there wouldn't have been a lot of processing going on. So we'll start off with the drums. The drums are very, very basic. So we've got a kick here. And then we have this reverb kick, which is the exact same kick copied to another track, but it has some reverb on it, just to give it that sort of hit. And then we move on to sort of the drums. And again, like I said, the drums are very basic. So you've got a clap, a shaker, and with the shaker, I've got it on 16ths, but just the second and fourth note I've just moved ever so slightly to give it a bit of swing. And then obviously the offbeat hat. And they're all going to track 6. Again, nothing on there at all, so they're very, very raw going into it. And then obviously we have a crash, which is going to track 11, not track 1. This is just some low cut and some ping pong delay, and that's also the same for the sort of laser effects as well. This laser also has a sort of same thing on it, just to make it go on after it ends. Okay. Then we have this snare fill. Again, a very basic fill. Just every note playing and the volume going up. Now for this snare, I've cut the low end out and boosted the highs. Normally I won't do that. Normally I just change the sample till I find a decent sample, but I thought this sample wasn't too bad. So now we're going to move on to the synths. And one of the sort of key elements of this type of music is just the offbeat bass line. It's just very basic. This has just been made here in Serum. So if we clone this, and we go to an insert, let's just go in here, copy this across so it's all in one note. And then mute that. We can make a very quick bass line here, so let's do that. So there's a very, very quick 90s sort of sounding bass. I spent a bit more time on this one and just play with the cutoff filters a bit more, but you've got a nice 90s sort of saw bass there. Very, very basic and simple to make. And then we have this sort of synth here, which is a sort of Alice DJ style synth. For this, we've used these two oscillators, one unison and on both. And we have it going to the cutoff like normal. Cutoff working a little bit there. We've added this hyper dimension on. We've added some distortion. A bit of delay, a bit of reverb, and some EQ. And you can hear the movement of the track. What that's come from is we've used this LFO to control the resonance of it. So and we just have that filtering up the resonance. So it's giving that little bit of change, a little bit of variety throughout the track. So it's not just the same thing playing straight forward. If we listen to that in the track. So you can sort of hear it. And then we move on to the pad, which is just a basic choir pad taken from Expand. And again, nothing on there. We could maybe low pass that, maybe high pass that, take some of the lows off, but we won't bother. And one of the key signature sounds really of this type of music, or this genre even, is the sort of pizzicato sound that you're seeing here, the sort of pizzicato sound. And in this one I've used Nexus. And this sort of sound was used quite a lot on a lot of tracks. It was used in, obviously, Bellissima, one of the main ones. It was used in, for example, Insomnia. It was used in Energy 52, like Cafe Del Mar. It's a bit more trancey. And it was used quite regularly, and quite a lot of, especially sort of Eurodance tracks. It was using like Flexible by Toss and Turn. And what we've done here is we've laid it twice. So we've got this one sound here from Nexus, and we have this sort of higher sound here coming as well. And they're both going to, we just a bit cut the lows off and boost the highs. And they're both playing the same notes. And then for extra effect, we've just doubled the notes up. So it's a very, very basic pattern, and we've just doubled it up to the top. And then we have this little crash sort of fill as well, where we've added crashes in and built the crashes up. I've added this extra kick in here as well for effect. Then it goes into this sort of main lead riff here. And this is just a very, very basic saw sound. So what we've got here, we've got 10 going here. This is 10 unisons. We've got it detuned a bit. This one only has 5. This is detuned, and these are both saw oscillators, and they're both going into the filter. What we've got there is the shape of the actual sound. And then this is for, I've got like clicking noise coming up there. That's used for the automation. Effects, just delay, some reverb, boosting the highs. And this goes to track 14, but it just has a bit more EQ on there as well. That's just sort of very basic 90s, late 90s sort of dirty sort of sounding saw. So if you think of Alice DJ, Will I Ever? It's a very, very similar sort of sound in there. It's doing a very, very basic pattern. And that's really it, really. And that then loops into the second sound. So once you start getting into the sort of late 90s, the key things obviously is to try keep it melodic as possible, some nice chords in there as well. Like I said, one of the key signature sounds is the pizzicato sound. You've going the offbeat bass, like the saw offbeat bass, and maybe even that sort of detuned saw. And again, the drums are very simple. Like I said, these are very, very basic drums. So there's nothing too complicated about this. And this is sort of really when it starts to move away into sort of trance and stuff like that, and maybe even hands up, which I've talked about in previous videos. This is where this music will start to move to that sort of genre. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description where you can download this FLP, so you'll be able to download this and have a play about with it yourself. Like I said, there's not much in here. I mean, you can change these pretty sounds yourself if you don't have Nexus, and these sounds like are all made on Serum. You can put your own pad and stuff in there if you want. But that's about it, guys. Like I said, very, very basic track here, very simple to make. So if you have any other suggestions or tracks, genres that you want made, leave a comment in the description below of what sort of genre you want me to look at. It can be any genre, it doesn't have to be just synthwave. Like this is not synthwave, even though it's sort of an evolution of synthwave is sort of going down that line. Next I might look at sort of early 2000 trance, but we'll see. Anyway guys, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching.